what a
I
lot
don't
of
want to
men
hurt.
complain about, though, is in the midst of the criticism, is you making me responsible for your feelings as I express myself. So now you flip the whole situation. I'm expressing a concern to you. Now you get
upset,
emotional and you
and
upset.
now I
Now
can't
and I have to
really-
coddle you now. I never get to truly communicate how I really feel to you.
That's real.
I
agree with
also
that.
think like a lot of women haven't been as good at communicating as they think they are. Where this is less of a critique and more of an attack.
Yeah.
Where because of critique, I'm an artist. I have mentors. I have teachers. I'm used to getting red pens all through my work.
Right.
Because but it's a this is why I crossed this out. You could try this. See if this works. This was unnecessary. If we sit down in a relationship and those are the things you tell me, I didn't like what you said to me here. This is how it made me feel. This is how I like to be talked to. Not you always running off at the mouth and you think you could talk to me any old type of way. And I'm like, whoa. This is how I
That
talk to
comes with your
everybody.
level
You know?
of tolerance as well.
This
And
is
a lot
true.
of
This
women
is
are
true.
very intolerant, and they have to work on that. A lot of women still operate in trauma, and your trauma is going to make you intolerant. Your insecurities will make you intolerant. And so until you gain that tolerance, which there's a such thing as silent tolerance in a relationship, until you gain that, everything will feel like an attack.
So let me ask you.
I don't really know if this is my last time, but what I know is I'm feeling just fine. My life is like a rap carpet, and I'm feeling like the richest millionaire. This is my local mayor, and I'm the biggest star around here.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving, man. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail. More importantly, you need to see the clip. I'm so sick and tired of this trauma hustle. I'm going to say what I think, and I'm going to say what I feel. A lot of y'all don't have trauma. Y'all just thought y'all was grown and y'all could do whatever y'all want to any old body. And when there's a response to your BS, all of a sudden, I have trauma and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Let me explain something to you. Just like when they said, I need to be talked to a certain way. This is how you need to talk to me. A lot of times, and I give credence to that, like talk to people a certain way. But I don't believe that was screw-ups. Because when people are screw-ups, they're not screw-ups by mistake. They're screw-ups on purpose. So a lot of times when you got somebody who does out-of-pocket stuff, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna tell you, I need to be talked to a certain way because they did something dead wrong, but they don't want to be scolded for being dead wrong. Excuse me. So what happens is they want you to bring it down some, I need to look, I was yelled at. My trauma as a child, it was getting cussed out and yelled at. Yeah, because you was an idiot. You acted a doggone fool when you was a kid. You deserved them to be cussed out. You deserved all the whippings you got. That wasn't trauma. That was discipline. That was punishment. That's what that was. Stop hiding your rebelliousness getting, behind trauma. And the other thing, when the lady was talking about the ladies not accustomed to it, this is a family issue. I know we say, men are coddled, boys are coddled by their moms, but boys aren't coddled by society. A lot of you ladies, y'all didn't really get cussed out like that as children and teenagers. Y'all didn't really get cussed out like that and disciplined like that as children and teenagers. So the minute you get to adulthood, you actually just think it's sweet. And all of that little manipulative scumbag behavior that you thought you got away with and that people gave you a slap on the wrist for, you think you could just take that to everybody in the world. And when people say, no, ma'am, it's, oh, you're being so unfair. The trauma. I should try to ruin your life. I will me too your life because I lied on you and you caught me in a lie and you cussed me out about it. How dare you? He needs to be destroyed. It's like, oh, okay. I see what's going on. Because all of this relationship talk, it's all of these traumatic people, like I'm not buying it. I am not buying. Like, here's my issue. It's too many free-spirited people nowadays that swear they got trauma. It's too many reckless individuals out here that say they got trauma. It's too many habitual line steppers, just disrespectful, people out here who swear that they got trauma. There's too many thieves out here. It's just from trauma. Too many liars out here from trauma. Too many cheaters out here. It was the trauma. It's not the trauma. There was no trauma. You thought that you could be a bad human being with no consequence. And your trauma was consequence. And some of y'all don't, y'all don't understand it if you're 25 and the person you crossed is 25, it's something in your mind doesn't click that, maybe I shouldn't have been out of pocket with that person. Maybe they gonna respond because we around the same age. And if I did that to them, I don't know, I wouldn't take that sitting down. And they're not taking it sitting down. It's just, but when they come looking for you, then it's trauma. It's trauma. It's trauma. And don't get it twisted, man. I know people in their 60s that like to play the trauma game. I stole from you because when I was a teenager, it's so hard. It's like when you was a teenager, you was a screw up. That people actually, cleaned up all your messes. What are you talking about? The trauma. Okay. I've been on coke for 20 years because of the trauma. I've been a pothead for 40 years because of the trauma. I've been gambling because of the trauma. I cheated on everybody that I ever met because of the trauma. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, okay. I was stealing from people because of the trauma. It's like, okay. What about all the people that got trauma that don't do all this crazy stuff? Have we ever, ask them a question? How come you don't do all this crazy stuff that everybody else does because of trauma? How come you don't do that stuff? Like, it's just, Did you have trauma as a kid? Yeah, I guess so. I had this. Well, how come you don't act like that? Because why would I act like that? If I went through all that and was around all that, why would I become all that? We're going to have a real discussion about how a lot of what's really going on nowadays, people are experimenting with adulthood with one foot in the streets and 1 foot at their parents' house. They never really spread their wings completely. So they're always like, one step away from going back home. So they're doing stupid stuff. And they're trying to blame their parents, and to guilt them to let them back in the house, and at the same time to guilt society to let them get away with their BS. They never actually stand on their own 2 feet. Trauma has just become an excuse, man, to waste people's time and play with people's time and emotions. So that's just how I think about it, man. Y'all can tell me what you think for sure. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
All I ask is when you lay your head on that pillow at night, I gave you everything I had.